The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development, with a platform and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co. Mindy Gibbins Klein. Mindy is a thought leadership speaker, a trainer, a coach, an author. She's a native New Yorker who's been living in the UK for many years and has also found time to author and co-author 8 books and over 100 articles. She's a regular media contributor, and Mindy has often featured in national and specialist press. She's a trained coach, holds an MBA on international business, and has taught the postgraduate diploma course for the Chartered Institute of Marketing in the UK. Prior to founding the Book Midwife in 2001, Mindy built up over 18 years experience in the corporate world, mostly running marketing departments. Mindy has helped and assisted, and that's what she does regularly, in getting people and helping people get their book published. She's a phenomenal expert. And my work with her is, Mindy's spoken at several of our expos. And apart from that, she's been one of the trainers in one of our programs, Returning Pro. She is tremendously experienced. And in this interview, she shares some great ideas and some great wisdom. I'm sure you'll enjoy. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much for being here today. So I'm going to do a very quick introduction. For some of you that may not know who I am, I'm Bernardo Moy. I'm the Chief Inspirational Officer of The Best You. I'm the founder of The Best You. And I'm running these very quick webinars in order to share the success of a lot of people that I've met in the industry of personal and professional growth, and to discuss kind of, their journey and how they help and assist others and what it takes, to literally stand out head and shoulders above the rest of this great, beautiful industry that we're in. And today with me is Mindy Gibbins Klein. She's an extremely successful lady who has been running, she's been in the events business for a long time. Her company, one of the companies that she deals with, is called the Book Midwife. And what she does is she helps people, publish their best books and for them, to go global. She's helped hundreds, if not thousands of people over the years. She's a very professional speaker, and she's also just simply a very nice person who is very professional in what she does. She's, as an NLPer, I always say, one worth modeling. Hi, Mindy.
Hi. Wow. Thanks for that.
Thank you. So listen, tell me a little bit about yourself. Just give me a little introduction of, your background. How did you come in doing what you do today?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I always have to explain the strange accent because I grew up in New York and I went to university in Canada, and I've lived in the UK for 26 years. So it's a bit of a mashup, shall we say. I was in marketing for many, many years, sales and then marketing. And, they're very closely linked, but not the same. And marketing was really enjoyable. And when I left the corporate world 17 years ago, I thought I'd set up a marketing consultancy. But because I had so much freedom, I thought I'd also set up a coaching company. I've been involved with the Tony Robbins companies, and I'm one of their senior leaders. So I really wanted to do both, as I was doing marketing and coaching. Oh, and just in case I wasn't busy enough, my first book was coming out. And that's really where everything intersected, the marketing, the coaching, and books, because it turned out that people were really, really interested in writing books. And most people, they're at risk of never doing it. So I'd done it, and everybody wanted to know all about it. And so I quickly changed the coaching and marketing companies. Well, I merged them, and we started focusing on books. And then I very quickly had to outsource all the marketing because it took all my time helping people plan and write their books. And I didn't own a publishing company at that time. That came about 3 or 4 years later. So now I'm very busy. I'm doing my speaking, my own writing. I coach my own clients. I run the Book Midwife. I run Panoma Press, and try to have a bit of free time as well.
Well, I know you've helped so many people, and you've summarized that very, very quickly. But you've also been, I know I've met you at the Yes Group, but you've been involved in this industry for a long time, haven't you? you know pretty much anyone and everyone.
I know a lot of people. It's funny because I was very involved with the Yes Group, which started with people going to Tony Robbins seminars. And, Tony and his stuff really changed my life. I've been doing that for about 15 years. But before that, I had the books and the tapes and everything. And when I started getting very involved, at one point, I think I supported 10 events one year. And, it's fantastic. I was in the environment. I was just, loving it. And I used all of the information and all of the methodologies and technologies to improve my life and business. So that's really what it's all about. You take action, not just go all around the world attending seminars. And I improved my business to such an extent that I find it really hard to get to events and seminars and even the Yes Group. I do my best. But I'm on a mission to do a bit more in business so I can give a bit more to society.
That's lovely. And I'm a great believer in that, especially us within this, kind of what we do and what we represent and how we help people. I think it's something that we definitely have to look into. You can read so many books, you can attend so many seminars, but you've got to make the world a better place too. So tell me a little bit about what challenges did you overcome when you were starting a business?
I started the business quite accidentally. So I said before, when I left the corporate world, I was kind of forced out with a package, and it was great. The package included some money, and so I had a bit of time and a bit of freedom, and I had a number of plans, and I was playing. I was, setting up these marketing businesses and life coaching and my book, and I was meeting friends for coffee. I was like, wow, freedom. I'd never experienced that before. And the biggest challenge was myself. And, I didn't really understand about running a business until that money from the package ran out. And then it's like, oh, better get serious. So I could have gone any number of ways. I could have gone back into the corporate world. But at that point, I already had clients who were depending on me, and I just had to get serious. And funny enough, I built this empire. And about 5 years ago, we got into trouble again for a different reason, because money was flowing. It's not we had no money. We had a lot of money. And it was, I thought, wow, we could do this, we could do that. And I didn't really keep control of all the costs. And costs spiraled out of control. And, business is kind of up and down and not always that predictable.
Yeah.
And then, I had to get through that. And really, it was a question of cost control.
What kept you going? What keeps you going? As an entrepreneur, I've got my own take on this. But what keeps you going when things get tough?
It's my clients. I feel such an obligation to them. So my co-founder of Panoma Press, our publishing company, he announced to me about 8 years ago now that he was going to retire. And he only gave me 3 or 4 months notice. And he said, well, you can bring someone else in or run it yourself or it can fold. And I thought, oh, no, I can't let it fold. And I just have this driving thing. If it was just me, I would still have my pride, but there's people depending on me and our companies. And we have books in print. And I've seen publishing companies go bust. I don't know if you have, Bernardo. It's not pretty.
No.
Because all of the assets are locked up. You can't get the books out of warehouses. It's basically as if that book doesn't exist. And sales, obviously, go right down. But it is worse than that. It's a big mess. So I just thought I have this obligation to my authors, and I take that really seriously. And I do everything with them in mind.
So you're constantly, obviously, promoting yourself. What does it take to kind of stand out, to build that business? Because there's, it's a very competitive industry out there.
It takes either time or money. And in my case, I've used time more than money. And over time, I've chosen to build relationships like we have. Mm-hmm. I've networked and really gone over, I feel, above and beyond to show people what we do so they can then sell us in. We have so many referrals. In the first half of last year, 100% of our business came from referrals. 100%.
Wow.
Every single new client. So I thought, wow, we're doing something right, but that's taken time. That's taken 17 years. Some people hit the ground running and they throw a lot of money at marketing. And that's another way to do it if you want to accelerate things. It doesn't always have to be money, but you have to be pretty darn clever now to get people's attention without paying for clicks and the funnel.
Well, that's an impressive statement you just said there. 100% of your business through referrals. That's great. And I think knowing what it takes to fill seminars and get people to attend, we tend to underestimate the value of our customers and what we spend in time, money, and effort to build that relationship, and sometimes how we don't really value them. And when we look at the cost of simply a cost per click, where you're paying £2-3 for someone just to come on your webpage, we really have to take attention. So that's great. And the other thing that you mentioned there was time. That's a great one. I mean, I really believe that a lot of people are looking for that quick fix, aren't they? They're looking for, hey, I'm going to get into the business. I want to succeed tomorrow. I want to have a full seminar room. And it takes time. We've put the hours in, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. And although the Best You brand isn't that old, shall we say, you've put your hours in and you're coming with the team, hundreds of years of experience, not you personally, but that you bring that all. And if you just simply never quit, then it builds and builds. I mean, a lot of people, you've seen the cartoon, the guy he quits right before he's about to get through to the ore in the mine. And a lot of people just aren't willing to persevere. And no, I think you and I know that it takes a lot of perseverance.
It does. A lot of perseverance and a lot of hours. So I've got more questions to ask you, but tell us about, obviously, your expertise. You help people get their book published. We run workshops together. Yeah. I've seen you talking, and you have people that, put their hand up, I want to get a book, or, 6, 7, I don't know, you probably got your number, that's more accurate than mine, but 6, 7 out of 10 people, when you've got a group out of 10, are thinking of getting a book published. They want to get the book published. Why is it so? First of all, why do so many people struggle with it, and then why do so few actually take action and make it happen?
Oh my goodness. Okay, the reason why I was laughing is you must have used the word published 6 or 7 times, and we need to roll the clock back because most people never even end up with a manuscript ready to publish. Okay. So here's pointer number 1 for anybody watching and listening. It's not about publishing. It's about planning and writing the best darn book you can and getting to the finish line so you have something ready to publish. A lot of people want to talk to us about publishing. And our first question is, how far along are you? Right? Book Midwife. And they say, I'm just still in the planning stages. And we won't talk to people about publishing. Now, some publishers will, but the Book Midwife is a coaching company. We believe very strongly that most people will never even start writing a book. I'll get to why in a second because that's what you asked. But they won't even start. And if they start, they will probably quit at some point. I had a client earlier and he's having a really challenging time. But because he's on the coaching program, we got him over it. And we both agreed most people would have just quit at that point. That would have been it. Too difficult, too many other things going on. So if people get to the finish line, usually they have taken too long. The average is about 2.5 years. It's coming back. It's just over 2 years now. But, that's too long, we think. And then still not be sure about it when you're done. So all of those things, it doesn't really matter if you do a blog and it's not quite the best. But when it's a book, I feel it really needs to be your best book because it's out there, it's in print. People are going to judge you. So here's my favorite phrase now, and people can tweet this if they want. So just this week, I've realized that people do judge a book by the cover, and they judge the author by the quality of the book. Yep. And those two things, you can't avoid them. That people, you shouldn't judge a book by the cover. I'm sorry, but people do.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel really passionately about people writing their best book. I keep saying people. Of course, we focus on entrepreneurs, business owners, and business leaders. These are people who already understand about profile. They already understand about standing out. They already understand that it's challenging, probably more challenging than ever, even though we have more tools and platforms than ever. It's more challenging than ever to stand out because everybody's out there. Everybody's on Facebook Live. Everybody's on, online broadcasting, blogging, writing articles. Everybody's an expert. So who's really an expert?
Yeah.
Right? Just to finish off, why people don't do it. So they say they don't have time, but it's because they're not making time. And the reason why they're not making time, it's twofold. One, they're not prioritizing, they're not organized, it isn't the right time for them. But the other part of it is fear. So, while they're sort of saying, I'm too busy, using that smokescreen, then they don't have to show that actually, they're scared or they don't know what to write or whatever, all these things. Sometimes people don't know what to write. Sometimes people really need help, which is, what we believe, to get their book done and make sure it's better.
If you're interested in working with me, contributing to the magazine, maybe speaking at any of our many events around the world, partnering or licensing The Best You, go to www.thebestYou.co.
I mean, obviously with you, it's easy. It's a lot easier. And because, what I've experienced as well within, the world that we live in is that there's a lot of people that stand out that are probably very good at what they do. They're good therapists, coaches, trainers, but, they lack expertise when it comes down to marketing, building their brand and going global. And that's why I suppose they work with us because, we provide them that opportunity, and they work with you because you like me, we make things happen.
Yeah.
You have a system, you have a proven system, and you take them through that system. And at the end of the day, they have that book there to prove it. And that's why I think one of the things that I've realized as well is that a lot of people tend to they want to do things on their own. They think, I can do this on my own. And you know what? We all need support. We all need help. We all need a team. And I think would you agree?
Yeah, I've noticed that. We're in an age of empowerment, Bernardo. So it's great. As I say, there's all these platforms. There's all this, you can do your accounts yourself much more easily and all sorts of things that you would never attempt. And because it's so easy to, do DIY, do it yourself, people think, oh, well, I'll do that and I'll save money. But certain things should not be attempted, I think, if that's not your core competency. So, for example, I'm always saying if I were to run a marathon, now I've run two half marathons. So in effect, I have run a whole marathon. I haven't run the full 26 miles in one go. And if I ever did choose to do that, I would have a coach of some kind. I would not try to train by myself. I'd make too many mistakes. I don't want to get injured. So that's, anything that's kind of life-threatening, but also, shall we say, profile-threatening, things that make you look bad. And if you're a business owner, your reputation and your brand are all important. So, partnering with the right people, making sure, because there's a lot of places where people can go and exhibit their stuff and but the Best You is an obvious place, for example, for people who are coaches and trainers and speakers. It's where people expect to see them. Same thing with doing your book. You can do a DIY, but then what? Then what do people do? They doubt themselves, and so they don't put it out. And all that time wasted writing, and then the book never gets published, which is really sad. Or they ask their network, they go on Facebook and they say, what do you guys think? They're not the experts. But I don't know why. I think it's just the way our society is going, the social proof, the fact that people have everything at their fingertips. But here's another bit of Mindy wisdom to tweet. Just because you have everything at your fingertips doesn't mean you need to do it.
That's great advice. That is great advice. But I also think that my wife embedded these words in my mind many, many years ago. You pay what you get for, and that's, you get what you pay for. Sorry.
Yeah, I do what you meant.
That's what I meant. And that's the bottom line is that, I think kind of when it's I've spent millions of pounds. That's no other way of putting it. I've spent millions of pounds. We've turned millions of pounds in the last 10, 12 years, we've spent millions of pounds in building the brand, in social media, in creating awareness, and working with the best people. And I believe that a lot of people don't understand what it takes to kind of really build your business. And I think the power of association, working with the right people, is obviously something very important. What do you think are ultimately the necessary tools for someone to succeed in business in general? Obviously, we're more focused in kind of the personal development world. But what do you think are the most important aspects that one should have? Okay, so if, we've got the wheel of life, if you picture that circle, well, there is one for business as well. They're the business basics. So when I did my MBA, there were the core courses, and I thought, I don't really want to do all these. Now I realize how important they all are, and they all work together to keep that wheel going. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about finance. You have to understand, if you're a business owner, you have to understand finance at least to a certain level so that you can understand what your accountant's doing for you and any other finance people. You have to understand operations and the basics. You have to understand how things work and, production and how sales and inventory, I've learned this the hard way, how everything works together and supply and demand and things like that. You have to understand about sales and marketing and understand how you're going to play each game, because there's so many choices. So that's great. And that I'm including in that your brand in the marketing aspect. And now social media, which platforms are right for you as a business, because some definitely are better than others for each business. And on and on and on, you've got HR, you've got, your people. If your people keep going, if you have to keep hiring and you keep losing them like a revolving door, then that's going to cost. And it also creates a bit of a bad feeling. So, all of those basic aspects, but shrunk down to the size that we can cope with as entrepreneurs. So, we don't need an HR department to manage 350,000 people if we only have 7 people. But it's the same concepts. Do you know what I mean? No, great advice. Thank you so much. I wanted you to share with us, I know it was just a few months ago, not long ago, your TEDx talk.
Oh, my goodness.
Sure.
Well, I will, yes. Every time I think about it, because it's not related to books, and it is related to thoughtful leadership. So I think you and our tribe know that my latest book, The Thoughtful Leader, came out because people started talking about thought leadership. And that whole term has got diluted and destroyed, in my opinion, because, if everybody's a thought leader, then nobody is. Yeah. And a lot of people are using the term, and it just sets my teeth on edge, especially if people call themselves. So if you're watching this video, please never, ever, 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 ever call yourself one. Do all the things and the market will call you a thought leader, I promise. And if they're not calling you one, then you're not doing the right things. Yeah. But I thought, well, what is it that's bothering me the most? And that was the fact that so many people were putting out content that they were calling thought leadership, but there wasn't enough thought put into it. And I remembered what Seth Godin said to me when he looked at 24 Karat Bold, and he gave me the endorsement. And Seth is someone I really respect. And he said, the first thoughtful book I've seen on what it takes to be a thought leader. And I thought, I've forgotten about all that. And it's the thoughtful aspect. So anyway, the point is the TEDx talk goes into an area of my life and something that happened in our family. The title of it is Sometimes You Need to Change Yourself to Be Yourself. Now, if that isn't a phrase for personal development, I don't know what is. But it's very specifically my take on, how we need to hold ourselves to a certain standard. That's all I'm going to say.
If you're interested in watching the video content of this interview and many others, or interested in learning from world leaders and teachers, go to www.thebestyou.online.
That's a beautiful quote, that is. And Seth Godin, not a bad forward.
Yeah,
amazing. Well done on that. So just a couple of things now. We're going to wrap up, and I will explain at the end of how people can find you. You can share a few links with us. Yep. So Mindy, we met originally. We were talking about the power of partnerships and working together, and I always share this, that I've experienced it many times where people come to me and said, you know what, because they know I've been promoting Richard Bandler and Paul McKenna for a long time. So they say, you know, Bernardo, I'm the next big thing, you know, and I need you to put me on stage because, you know, I will fill the room. And I just laugh and I think, well, excuse me, who are you? You know, because I can see you've got 4 Twitter followers and one's your mum and the second one's your sister. But with the greatest of respect. And that's kind of one of the things that I find a lot. People expect you to put everything that you've built at their disposal, simply because, you know, that's it. And one of the things that I've always admired and respected with people that have their heart in the right place and are congruent with what they preach, speak, talk, and publish, is obviously, you know, how can I serve you at first? And that's one of the things that I came across with you when we originally met. And for me, it's always a door opener. When I have someone that comes to me and says, look, Bernardo, I love what you're doing. I love your brand. I'd love to help you, support you. Could I interview you? I've never said no to anyone. And quite the contrary, I'm always very honored and humbled. But then when it comes down to thinking, well, who would I like to work with? You're always going to start working within your circle of friends or people that, you know, that you trust. So I remember it meant a lot to me when you came on board to the first expo, the Best You Expo, which was a challenge, and it was a vision that I had in my head. And I remember you coming on board on the first one and the second one and supporting us, and with your professionalism, your great energy, and everything that you brought, because you brought, you know, fantastic quality clients as well. So I want to thank you for that. I've got a very good memory, and so. Why do you think something like the Expo? So we're on to our third year now, as you know, and this one's great, actually. We've got some fantastic partners in this one. We've got Psychologies Magazine, Top Sante. We've got Well-to-Do, Wellness, Balance Magazine. We've got some fantastic media partners, Success Resources, Bulletproof, both here in the US and the UK. So, you know, we're delighted. People are starting to see what we've been building for a long time.
Yeah.
Why is it important to be in a place like the Expo? Because, you know, I think, and I'm going to finish now, I'm going to let you, but because I think people tend to underestimate their only thing about their clients. But why is it important to put yourself out there? Because, you know, you're already a professional. Why was it important for you to be there?
Okay, so us as exhibitors, as I said before, the show was very relevant. So we've exhibited at a few other places, mostly business shows. And, you know, we've had some success, but what we're really all about is part of that wheel of life personal development scene. And there was no other show. There still isn't any other organization that covers the whole lot and, you know, really gets it in terms of the different ways in which you can promote yourself and all the exposure and also the scale. You know, I admire you for biting that big chunk out of, people's awareness, because that was a huge, huge beast. And yeah, it needed to be done. I think it takes people a while to figure out what's going on. They don't want to be the first. Not everybody's an early adopter. I'm not normally. It just felt like the right thing to do. I could not think of another exhibition or just, shall we say, media and marketing partner who was offering that, and I still can't. So, you know, it's a no-brainer, especially if you can get a cheaper free ticket to go along and browse all the stands if you're not exhibiting. I'll be seeing you both days, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all my friends. I was trying to explain to somebody yesterday. I said, of course I'll be there. I said, I've got to figure out how long, because I'm not going to get more than 3 meters before it's time for another hug. I mean, it's like a family.
Yeah.
That's what I like, you know, all my friends in one place. So if the people watching are interested in personal development, they cannot not be there unless they're, you know, not in the country or something like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. No, and that's one of the things I tend to really emphasize is the fact that the networking opportunities in the room. I understood it from the beginning, but it's really shown me, because I think kind of from the people that were at the expo, we'd never worked together, and we've started working together. There's at least 4 or 5 people that I started working with pretty much straight away. People that have come on my courses, a lot of my clients that have come on your courses, a lot of your clients that, have probably come to the expo as well, attending, exhibiting. So it's the power of networking and the power of like-minded people. And that's one of the things I really tend to emphasize. They underestimate the value or the potential business in the room, because they're focusing on, who's this next delegate that's walking up to me, and I can obviously get their email address and offer them my free ebook. But they're not really thinking about, those other exhibitors over there where, hey, listen, we might be able to partner up, we might be able to work together, run a seminar together. So,
yeah, that's right.
So one of the things that I wanted to share with you, what are your plans now moving forward? What is it you're planning in doing? What's next?
Well, we do 1 or 2 group programs every year, and we have one starting on the 22nd of February. So this means that somebody will start their book on that day. It's quite easy to remember, 222. 22nd of Feb. And we do a 90-day program, during which time they do the whole plan, structure, framework, outline, and they write all 3 drafts, and they have that finished manuscript that we were talking about by the end of the 90 days. So that's what we do. That's the core. That's nice. We mostly work with people privately. I have my own private client list. My coaches have private clients that they're working with all the time. And yet the group program just offers it, that experience to a few more people at a slightly lower price. So, we like to do those. We've done them in different countries, but the next London one is starting next month. So I'm excited. Whoops, got so excited I nearly dropped the Mac. And,
I've had some of my clients that I've either on my Turning Pro program or that I've mentored that have come on the program with you. Yep. And before the program was finished, they had their book published and they had the biggest smile in their face and they're very, very proud.
Yeah.
I've seen
amazing. Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted to do in order to make it easy for people, and because this is going to be recorded, with your permission and the permission of everyone, I'm going to literally share my screen. And so, Mindy, let me type in here. What's the URL I'm going to type into?
Oh, just go bookmidwife.com. I sure hope the website's working. It should be fine. Bookmidwife.com always has our latest and greatest. And if you scroll down, you'll see the group course. It's, people can find out if they're ready to start. There it is, the next group program, testimonials. Some people that people know, there's 2 NLPers there that I can see. So bookmidwife.com. Also Book Midwife. I think you can find our Twitter and Facebook. Everything's Book Midwife. And if people have already written their book and they need to talk to Panoma instead, they can still come through Book Midwife and we'll send them on.
These are all the books that Mindy has helped people.
It's a sample.
Well, a sample of the books that she's helped people with. Yeah. And these are some great testimonials and many happy places. And those things that they're holding in their hands are their books. Guys, listen, my advice for anyone and everyone, obviously, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to publish your book, to have something that you can hand out to someone. I mean, Mindy shared a great example, one of the courses we're doing together about, I think it was an accountant or something. I'll probably say the story wrong, but it was someone that was in finance and accounts. You would think, why would he want a book? Well, you know what? He had his book published. He sent it off to someone that they were tendering and literally they got a deal. So it's as simple as that. A big deal, exactly. And that's what it means. And there's a lot of people out there in the industry and you have to, if you want to stand out, having a book is very important. So thank you so much, Mindy, for sharing that. And for those of you that want to find out a bit more about the Best You, what is this Best You Expo thing that's happening, that's taking over London? Well, sorry. First of all, sorry, hashtag not sorry, as I normally say. But we're here to change and help the world. But we've got 180 speakers.
Woo!
At the Best You. We've got all sorts of great things happening. We've got the schedule now live, which is very exciting. The schedule's got pretty much everything that's happening in all the seminar rooms and who's speaking at what time. But as you can see, speaker after speaker after speaker. I've got to say, there's so many women this year, which is amazing. Fantastic. Let's empower women. We need women. Yeah, we need women at the forefront. We've got fantastic things going on in the yoga room as well. Got some fantastic yogis. We're excited, honored, and delighted. And as I said, we've got some great speakers. This is it. Loads of people. Jason Vale, Paul McKenna. So blom, loads. And the partners, which I was mentioning before. So we have some fantastic partners supporting us. That's our cause, the Best You, a Better World. We believe in making a change. We have the responsibility as transformational leaders to inspire change and make the world a better place. So we supported some great causes. Charity A21. We're also supporting SAFA, the Armed Forces charity, Chasing Coral, global warming. So we've got some great stuff going on there. And that's it. And if you guys are thinking, you know what, England's too small for me now, and we want to go global way, listen, I've got the same feeling. England is now great. I love it, but we're prepared. We're going to the US. So that's it. We're in the US in Long Beach, 24th, 25th of March. We're honored. I've got to say, Mindy, look, I think I shared this last time, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen in a minute. But anyway, if you go to the Best You Expo USA, you'll see the amazing lineup of speakers we've got. And we've got some fantastic ones. Dave Asprey, Mastin Kipp, Dean Graziosi. We've got some amazing people. Jim Quick. But one of the things I've got to say, Mindy, you being American or more, you might be more English or consider yourself more English than American. But man, I mean, do they get it over there? I have to say, you speak to people, they understand the concept. They understand they have to invest. I mean, you ask them for something, they send you the most professional video. You get it straight away. They start doing email marketing. Everyone is just, it's a different level. It's a different level.
Yeah, well, they had a little head start because, I was in that environment in the 1980s, and I came over here in 91, and it still took a while to get going. So, we've caught up pretty well. We really have, and especially California. I mean, you chose the right place to run that. So, I'm excited to be part of the family, and I'll see you at the awards dinner as well. And there's just so many opportunities. And
the awards are going to be great. Thank you so much. Lovely to have you there. It's the V&A this year. It's going to be very special. I'm very excited about that. It's an amazing room. I'm very excited. I've got to do the tasting menu next week. I mean, it's terrible. Someone has to do it. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. You're charming. You're lovely. You're amazing. And I hope to see you soon. Take care.
You will see me soon. See ya. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.